gentlemen, and welcome back to another weather update here at Liam's Weather. I am forecaster Liam Kenny, and I can finally bring you some good news. We have finally made it to the end of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. 21 storms got named this year, and that makes the year of 2021 the third most active hurricane season on record. Here's a look at every single storm that got named this year and the track that it took, going all the way from eastern Texas and the eastern coast of Mexico all the way out into the northeastern Atlantic. It was a very, very, very active hurricane season, and yes, while many storms may have not have impacted the United States in general, there was still a lot of action, and the reason for that is because as we headed into the late portions of the season, every single storm, or excuse me, let me say this better, almost every single storm that got named was pushed out to sea by the Bermuda High, which was definitely a very good sign. Here's a look at every single storm that made landfall over the last 1 to 2 years, going all the way from the eastern coast of Texas throughout the Gulf Coast, down to the Florida Peninsula, and right up along the whole entire eastern coast, all the way up into portions of New England. There has been several hurricanes that have been landfalling hurricanes in the state of the United States of America, and thankfully only 2 systems that were Category 4 did make landfall, and those were Hurricane Ida and also Hurricane Laura. Now, here's a look at every single month that they made landfall. We had Tropical Storm Anna that made landfall in May, along with Tropical Storms Bill, Claudette, and Danny in June. We had one system that made landfall in July, and that was Tropical Storm Elsa, Hurricane Elsa. And then the majority of the action happened really at the peak of the season, which is going to be anywhere in late August into September, and then eventually into October. And that is when Hurricane Ida made landfall back past this year in right near New Orleans, Louisiana. It was just a very, very, very deadly storm and really a catastrophic event that happened. And thankfully, we only had one storm that made landfall or got named in the month of November, and that was Tropical Storm Wanda. Now, you all will be very happy to know we didn't have any landfalling hurricanes in the state of South Carolina, which means our pizza party will be on the only systems that impacted South Carolina this year was Tropical Storm Danny, Tropical Storm Elsa, and also Tropical Depression Claudette, which means our pizza party will be on. I will tell you more about that coming up in just a couple of minutes. So let's take a look at some of the biggest storms that we saw this year. This is Tropical Storm Elsa that did intensify up to a hurricane right before it made landfall, right around the Big Bend, and then did de-strengthenize to a tropical storm right before it made landfall. It brought absolutely catastrophic flooding to portions of Florida and also some very deadly storm surge. Now, this is probably going to be the most memorable storm that we saw this year. This massive hurricane that I'm showing you right here, this is Hurricane Ida that rapidly intensified from a Category 1 hurricane with wind speeds of 70 to 80 miles an hour to a Category 4 hurricane overnight with wind speeds of 150 miles an hour. I mean, this storm was just an absolute beast. I've only seen a couple of storms that were as strong as Ida was, in my career, I guess you could say. But this storm was just an absolute monster. Now, let's take a look at this. This is the radar loop of when it made landfall in southeastern Louisiana. Take a look at the eye wall, and you'll see that as it made landfall, the eye wall actually got better structuralized as soon as it made landfall. And the reason for that is because as it was making landfall, all those strong winds that were being pushed on shore, it pushed all that water on shore, so the area was already flooded with water. And you all know, as soon as a hurricane is over warm waters, it will immediately strengthen. So as soon as it was over land with water, the eye actually became better structured. I mean, this eye was just an absolute monster. And anywhere where that white is, that's indicating winds potentially over 170 miles per hour. This hurricane was just an absolute beast of a hurricane. I've only seen a couple of storms that were as strong as Ida was. Here's a look at the radar loop as it made landfall and those very strong outer bands coming on shore with wind gusts potentially upwards of 160 to 170 miles an hour. This storm, honestly, I really don't know. I really can't choose the right words to describe what some people went through within this particular system right here. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Yes, we will have our pizza party this year hosted by ABC 15's chief meteorologist Ed Pietrowski with special guest, drumroll, Mr. Jim Cantori himself from the Weather Channel will be joining us. When is it, you ask? It's going to be Saturday, December 11th, 2021 at the Myrtle Beach Pelicans Baseball Stadium on 21st Avenue North in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Everybody is allowed 2 large pieces of pizza and also 1 drink. You don't have to sign up for anything. There's going to be a lot of activities for kids. There'll be Santa there that they can take pictures with. And you were also encouraged to bring a couple of different toys for tots, all right? Once again, save the date on your calendar, Saturday, December 11th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Pelicans Baseball Stadium with special guest himself, Mr. Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel, all right? So that's going to be it for today, and we have finally made it to the end of hurricane season.